Okay. A little bit. Yeah. There we go. Welcome to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Brand new show. We got the last show of the year and also the first show of the year here over the weekend. So, got lots of great stuff we'll talk about. We'll review overall 2022, what happened. We'll talk about kind of recap just what happened in real estate in Myrtle Beach, right? What happened here in terms of values, what happens in terms of sales. We had some significant changes this year after the COVID run up. And so we'll just kind of recap like what happened here in the marketplace around the Grand Strand. And we'll also talk about what to look forward going into 2023. And I think we'll see some interesting factors. And there's two main factors that are going to determine what happens with the market next year. And we'll talk about what those are. And that's something I've been reading a lot about, studying about, and really kind of making sure I position our team, our company, and really our clients in the right place. We'll talk about kind of what's going on there, really overall what to expect in 2023 from the housing market and what two major factors to look for that's going to make or break it. And they're talking about some areas are going to see declines. Some areas are going to see increases in terms of price. And so it's all over the place. We'll also see really kind of discrepancies between certain large firms saying firms being like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and National Association of Realtors. Some are saying prices go up. Some are saying prices go down. So we'll talk about what's going to be behind that, what's going to drive that. And I'll look at those and see. Well, overall recap the brand new market numbers, look at last month's numbers. We'll also look at year-to-date numbers overall and kind of just say, look, how do we stack up? Everything's laid on the table. Everything's finished. Obviously, we don't have the full December numbers in. We won't have those until about 2 weeks into January. But we'll talk about what's happened there overall and kind of what to look forward if I'm looking to make a decision in 2023. Because it's very interesting. We have very, very low inventory. We have lots of people who got in, have very low interest rates, sometimes 2-3%. Many locked in below 4. And so it creates this weird dichotomy where I'm not sure if I should buy something else. I'm already locked in at a very low rate. And so what's happening is that's keeping rates low, which is keeping inventory low, which is also protecting price, even though sales are down almost 50%. And so we'll have one goal here on this show, and that's to help you navigate the real estate market, help you make better decisions. I've been doing this, I think, almost 14 years, maybe even longer here on this station. And so we just want to give you great data, great information, help you make the absolute best decision possible with your largest asset, which is real estate. And as always, you can go back, you can watch these again, share with your friends or relatives. We're streaming on YouTube all the time, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. If you just look up Blake Sloan on Facebook, you can see it on there. And you can also obviously listen to this on Saturdays and Sundays here on WRNN. So we'll talk about that, do a market recap, also have some amazing, amazing success stories. Our team's been absolutely crushing it. Already sold 3 today, and we're continuing to push that all the way to the finish line. We'll talk about today's show. Yes, and that's just something that I made a decision to talk about on this show a couple years ago after seeing so many horror stories over and over and over and over again, even having those horror stories come from people who are listeners of the show. And so I just made a promise that, look, every week I'm going to talk about this in some way to help. It kind of became the calls, like the rallying cry behind the show and what we do. And it just comes down to, it doesn't matter how affluent people are, how many properties they sold, what they do, how young, how old they are. They still make the same mistake over and over and over. And it's just this old way of people, are used to business being done. But the mistake they make is thinking that all real estate agents are the same. And it could not be any further from true. Just like any doctor, any lawyer, you're charged with a crime you didn't commit. You don't want the cheapest lawyer. You don't want the lawyer who just got their law license that your friend recommended. You want the absolute best, most aggressive attorney who specializes in that type of law. And you shouldn't demand less than that when you're dealing with your largest assets, which is real estate. And so the fact is, the average agent in our marketplace sells roughly 4 homes a year. That's 1.25, and it's not very good at all. And that's not someone who's really in depth and understanding what's happening in the marketplace in real time. And so that's why you see so many horror stories and so many instances where people just don't trust agents. They don't like their agents. That's because you went with an agent who's selling an average of 4 homes a year. And so the reality is the single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only, and that thing is the agent that you choose, period. Nothing else. Not the grass quality, not the wall color. It comes down to your actual agent and how the agent actually executes. What most people don't realize when you're selling a property is 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, guess what? Property gets sold, and obviously you get the extra money put in your pocket. If anything's handled incorrectly, aka they drop the ball at any point, that costs you your hard-earned equity. Or what's happening now, which wasn't happening as much in the past, is that properties aren't selling. And that's what happened for years and years before the whole COVID craziness, is that properties would just sit there. And now we're finally seeing that again, because when the market was in a frenzy, anybody could sell a house, right? For your friend's brand new kid who just got in real estate could take some pictures on their cell phone and get the property sold. And that was happening, but they didn't realize they were costing themselves $30,000-$40,000 by going that person. But now what's happening is it's getting exposed a little bit more. Now those properties are not selling; they're sitting in the market longer. I had somebody reach out on Facebook today. Hey, my property's listed with this person. They're a very nice agent. They want to know if you can come in and buy it from them, right? Well, obviously that's the problem, is you went with the agent who hasn't sold anything, who doesn't have any marketing money to spend on your behalf. And so what I did said, look, there's got to be something a lot better than the old school way. The old school way is really just the 3 Ps. They promise you the world to get the listing. Number 2, they put it to MLS. And number 3, they just pray that someone else brings a buyer. Meanwhile, the agent's down the street hunting down the next listing, because that's how they're trying to survive in the business. I know that because I grew up in the business. I watched everyone do it. My whole family sold real estate, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma. And I grew up in these offices just seeing it. And I said, man, there's got to be a better way to get more predictable results and actually have like a true business. And so I sought out from different mentors and just read tons and tons of books, hundreds of books, and really said, look, how do we create a system that's proven repeatable, that creates maximum leverage at every single point, but it does one thing at the end every single time? And that thing is, how do we give our client a competitive advantage in the marketplace when they're selling a property? And so I set out, designed this thing called the Guaranteed Sold System. The only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods, and it works very, very, very well. Right? It's designed to give you that advantage, and it uses 2 main things: people and technology. And so people behind it, we have a team of 30 plus people that are out there supporting our clients in what we call specialists. Each person specializes in what they do, where most agents that you talk to are what we call generalists. They're just doing everything. They're not mastering anything. So they're getting the lowest hanging fruit, the squeakiest wheel. And the other side of the coin, where we do with the Guaranteed Sold System, is we have people in place who manage every single aspect of the transaction with precision to make sure we give you that leverage all the way to that point. And that's what the Guaranteed Sold System does. On the flip side, there's 100 plus variables out there for home buyers when you're buying, right? The make or break your home purchase, either getting the price you want or getting the property you want. They have to be handled correctly, where most agents are just going through the motions. They're calling you back between the golf game or whatever it is. And so we have a very, very aggressive approach. We have the system called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Gets priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, that's for sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price. And that allows us to give you the absolute best leverage in getting those deals. And we are seeing some of those deals come back. I just got a call today from someone in Newport, California, with 2 foreclosure properties, looking to someone to help sell them. And that's what we did for years and years. And so interesting enough to see some of those come back. But here's the deal. The marketplace is much different than it was 6 months ago, than it was 3 months ago. You could get away with getting that frenzy and just having some of the mistakes that agents make kind of get swept on the rug because the market was so hot. Now you owe yourself to have a true expert. Right now, you need more guidance than ever in the marketplace. And certainly in a very uncertain time in terms of real estate market, you want somebody who's very, very certain what they do and has the right experience. So if you want to know more how those systems work, get you proven repeatable results, reach out, call us 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com anytime.
Hey, Sean Hannity here, and as an active investor who invests in real estate all across the great country of ours, I want the best negotiator representing my interests. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. They can help you navigate through multiple cash offers, and more importantly, he has turned complicated situations into 5-star reviews. Now check out his rave reviews on Google Talk to him yourself. If you are on trial with big money at stake, you would want a seasoned negotiator with thousands of victories if they will take you on and you can afford them, right? Well, your home deserves the best representation. Know your options, see how much demand your home can command in this market right now, and get the best representation that you deserve. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Robert Walker. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent Myrtle set I recommend. You offer several options of which those really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers like Hot Crunch, you can reach the seller by a certain date, pay cash for the home when you get ready.
That's great. And the seller has a bit more time.
Use our proven marketing plan and sell to the highest price.
Work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. The brand new market numbers in there. Very, very interesting. We got a new record low, so to speak. So we'll talk about what's going on with that. And again, it's seasonal right now. We just finished up, obviously the holidays, and we're starting the new year right now. Like I mentioned, this show airs on Saturdays and Sundays. So Saturday is obviously the last day. Sunday is the first day. And so we'll talk about what's going on and kind of what to look at. But what we do is we track every 7 days and the marketplace. Been doing this since COVID lockdown. There's two types of numbers we talk about every week, right? The windshield numbers, which is like what's happening in front of us right now that's going under contract every day. And those usually close 30, 60 days later. That allows me to give our clients really better data to say, here's how you make better decisions real time. And I'm not making decisions based on data that's 60 days old, because that's how you lose for your client, right? And so really just track this every morning in my office. We track it every morning in our huddle. But if you look at how many properties been going under contract every 7 days? It's been around the 300s for the past few weeks. 12/9 was 366 under contract, 11/25, 358. If you go back 10/28, 455, you go 32 weeks ago, there were 690 properties under contract for $215 million. And that was already a 25% drop from the peak when we had in pending deals. I just know that because I have it logged, but check this out. The last 7 days in the MLS, only 206 properties under contract for $63 million, which is a new low, even lower than it was when we were looking at the numbers in COVID-19 lockdown. That's when I started tracking this. That was when you couldn't even check into a hotel because you weren't allowed to. And we were still in the 300 to 350s. Right now, we're at 206 properties last 7 days. Very, very scary to look at and understand, and just look at, hey, look, how many less buyers are out there right now. That we're again that seasonality, but at the same time, we're seeing interest rates have gone up and put a lot of buyers on the sidelines. We'll talk about what's going to happen really first and second quarter. But looking right now, 206 properties under contract. We're just a couple weeks ago, it's 298. Just really 1 week ago. Active listings right now, 879 active listings versus 881. So it is down a little bit. That's also seasonal. We do see people will tend to pull their property off the market during the holidays. And then what happens is we tend to see a flood of properties here the first of the year, because everyone, we call it this paralysis. They get in paralysis from all the way about Thanksgiving all the way to Christmas. Any client you call, any lead you call, they always say, hey, call me back after the first of the year. And so what's going to happen is you'll see that probably go up a little bit, which is good. And a lot of people who've been just on the sidelines will still make moves. We have seen, though, a lot of buyers still coming down to look. We talked in our huddle this morning with our team. They have a lot of buyers coming in town the first week of January who are looking to buy both second homes, investment properties, and also relocate down here to the Grand Strand, which is great news for us in terms of just being insulated in regards to our overall location. So here's an interesting number, though. Only one property over $1 million under contract the last 7 days. You go last week's show, there were 6 properties over $1 million. If you go back to 32 weeks ago, it's 13 properties over $1 million that went under contract. And so you're seeing the high end get hit a little bit hard right now in terms of new buyers coming in. There's 26 properties over $500,000 that went under contract. If you go back just 12/9, there are 56 properties over $500,000. And so again, you don't see a huge amount of movement over the whole week between Christmas and New Year's, but it is something to keep watching. Overall, I do foresee we'll see that bump back up here after the first year. So really quick, looking at recap numbers for anyone that missed last week's show, we'll just look at what happened last month. Next week, we'll have the overall December and annual final numbers in. They usually come after, obviously, a couple of days into the next month. So looking at sales for single-family resale homes last month, down 42.7%. So in November 2021, there was 660 properties sold. November this year, 378. So significant drop there. And this all started when rates started going up in early March and have climbed up considerably overall in the last 12 months, which is something we'll talk about here in a second. Overall, looking at interest rates, sales price is actually up 13.1%, which is good. It is down from the peak in May. It peaked out at 380,000. Right now we're at 361, 375. The good news though is actually up the last 2 months. So we went down in September to 345,000, bumped up in October to 360, and it bumped up again to 361, 375 in November. And that again goes back to just very, very low inventory. Into average sale price up 13.7% year to date at $444,017. It is down though from the peak this year, which happened in April at 488, 186. And so you're seeing that difference here, about $40,000 overall from the peak. And we are seeing that in terms of just certain areas, you're seeing about, a 5 to 10% decline. And some of that just the overall, like you say, the price coming back to where it's just kind of regulating out where it kind of should be, where people are just trying prices that were just crazy, and the next one in the neighborhood sale, they jack it up and they're 10, 15,000. So you're seeing it kind of level out overall. And it is really a case by case basis, neighborhood by neighborhood basis. We find that some we can push harder, some we don't really push as hard in terms of our price strategy. So what that means is in some we can be more aggressive based on certain micro markets, and some will be a little bit less aggressive based on what the data shows. And that's what we do is we don't really ever pick the price of the property. That's what a lot of sellers kind of miss. You say, what's my property worth? Well, we just show you the data and we give you all the great data and kind of coach you and say, look, here's what the data says. The price is set by the market, not by the agent. My job is to be the absolute best agent in getting your property marketed. And that's a big mistake people make. They say, look, how much can you give for my house? Well, the market can get what it can. You want the absolute best agent who can get you the most exposure. And so that's what we do. I'm basically a marketer in the real estate business. That's my forte. And then my job is to coach you and advise you based on the data and help you make the right decision in terms of price. And so that's something we'll keep watching. Go up overall. What's really kind of helped us is inventory. Inventory is still very, very low historically. Right now, it's at 2.6 months inventory. Now, it is up 100% from where it was just 1 year ago, but right now we're at 2.6 months inventory. The last time we were at that point was November 2020. But if you go back all the way to, let's say, 2019, there was 5.6 months of inventory. So double the amount of homes for sale on the market in January 2019. And so that's just something you're kind of seeing happen right now. The good news is that very low inventory is very advantageous for sellers. You can still price a little bit high. There's just not as much choices out there. And again, it's going to probably remain low for the next little while because so many people locked in. They have massive equity, don't have to sell, and they locked in at 2, 3, and sometimes 4%. And so that's something we'll keep watching in terms of what's going on. Showings per listing is also down. So buyer traffic is down 41.3% from the same time last year. We've seen that really off a cliff since late February, when he's averaging 8.3 showings per listing. Right now in MLS is 3.7 showings per listing. Condo, very similar fate in terms of what's happening. Condo sales down 44.9% overall. So 402 condo sales this last year, where you go back to November, was 729. We peaked out this year in March at 804 condo sales, which is obviously kind of where you see both houses and condos. That's when the overall interest rate started going up. Right now, prices year over year is up 20.8% for condos. So it's still way up there, and it's holding up there very, very strong. We saw it jump up back in December 2021, January 2022. Really, the first quarter is a huge spike. So, for example, in December 2021, the overall median price for a condo is $189. It jumped all the way up to May 2022 to 240,000, and it's hung right around there since May of this year. It's bounced up and down a little bit from 227, but right now it's at 235,000. So great news for prices in terms of condos, still holding strong. It's also the average sale price up 17.2%, and again, inventory still very, very, very low. It's up 187% from the very low when it's at 0.6 months inventory, but we're still in 2.3 months inventory. If you go back to April 2020, there's 5.9 months inventory, and so double what we have now. And that was really a normal market. And here's the crazy part: that was still technically a seller's market. Anything 6 months or below is a seller's market, meaning the seller has the advantage in the process because there's just less homes out there. And so we're still trying to get to this normalization, but there's so many factors right now with interest rates, with low inventory, with what's happening, and so many people have already locked in at a low rate. And so we've had many people economists and a couple of people I know in hedge funds are saying the same thing, where we're just going to remain in a very, very low inventory marketplace for a long time because so many people locked in at a very low rate. Doesn't make sense for them to move because they don't have the buying power to buy something else at a much higher rate. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more. Overall interest rates just gone down a little bit the past few weeks. They bounced around a little bit. Last week's show was 6.32. A couple weeks ago it was 6.65. It peaked out really last month at 7.37. Right now, for a 30-year fixed rate, 6.50%, which is awesome. It's actually coming back down a little bit, which is great news. A 15-year fix, 5.84%. A 30-year jumbo loan, 5.68%. A 5-year ARM, adjust rate mortgage, 6.15%. A 30-year FHA, 6.10%. And a 30-year VA loan right now, 6.15%. And so some good news. We find a lot of buyers didn't realize that rates had dropped back below 7, which it is down. It was a full point from the peak at 7.37. If you go back, though, to the 12-month low, it was at 3.27%. So you can see a significant difference there in a big swing we've seen that put a lot of buyers on the sidelines. One thing we'll talk about here in a second after this next break is what's everyone predicting the interest rate's going to do in 2023. They're all over the place, really based on who's making that prediction. So we'll take a quick break right back in a second and talk about that.
We got about 6.5 minutes left.
Perfect. Thank you.
Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price that you'll not agree to or buy yourself. And since you know you're going to sell by, you know how much you buy your next home, you're not worrying about being stuck. There's simply no other agent in the market with a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 five-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group. And tune in to Blake's show Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Hot buyers alert. My team now working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers looking for homes in the Grand Strand area, anywhere from $250,000 to $4.4 million. If you're thinking about selling, please contact us immediately. 843-808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. Like I mentioned a minute ago, we are still in a seller's market, very, very low inventory historically, and we have a massive problem. We spend lots and lots of money on really creating buyers from all across the globe, and we don't have enough listings out there to match them up in the entire MLS. And so right now, one of the things we've been doing is putting our money where our mouth is for years and years. Anybody that's listened to this show, one thing we do every week is we share our active buyer count that we have on our website. Buyers from all over the country, really, and sometimes over the globe. Like right now, I got Lindsay Rogers from Beverly Hills, California. I got Peter and Terry Feister from Hanover, Maryland. I got Jack from Trenton, New Jersey. I got Deborah from Amarillo, Texas. And these are actual people who are actually searching this very second. Doris Shell from Williamsport, PA. I got Bill Winkler from Tom's River, PA. I got Jason Christensen from Clayton, North Carolina. And I got Cannonsburg, PA, all over the place. I got Craig from Conway, South Carolina, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And so what makes us different than anyone else is our business model that we have and our build design allows us to outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. We're spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars every month driving traffic, which creates more buyers. And we match those buyers up to our listings because, frankly, I'm in business to make money, right? And that's what you hired us to do as an agent, is actually sell the property, not just put it into MLS. And so that's why I work so hard to create software and systems and a sales team who works very, very hard aggressively. And we reach out to these buyers, we match them up to properties like yours. And our job is to actually sell them, not just put them in MLS and let someone hopefully come in and sell them. We push hard, and that's why we get results for our clients in that scenario. So every week we share active home buyers. My team and I currently working ridiculous amount of home buyers actually searching for homes on our website. Right now, 70,567 active home buyers. Again, 70,567 home buyers. You're thinking about selling or know anyone that you come across on the holiday weekend or anytime this next week or going back to work, and they mention or smell like real estate or say anything like real estate, say, look, you got to call my buddy Blake, 843-808-SOLD. Save me in your phone. Call us anytime. I think that's something that's really so meaningful to us on the show. At any time we get a great referral. And speaking of really, really cool, couple cool success stories here. Tira was renting her home in Georgetown. to family members. And unfortunately, they did not take very good care of the home. After they moved out, Tara went by the home and found it in a complete mess. Nearly the entire home needed updated and fixed. Tara's biggest concern was she did not have the resources to be able to fix the home up and was worried she'd not be able to sell it in the current condition it was in. Tara started looking around for what options she may have. She met with a couple of investors who wanted to pay her next to nothing for the home or wanted her to finance the purchase of the home to them. Feeling defeated, thankfully, she was referred to us, Sloan Group, by a radio listener. In one final attempt, she called us. We showed her how we can have hundreds of buyers looking for homes just like hers in the current as-is condition and showed her how we can get top dollar for the property, get it sold quickly. We designed a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, a virtual reality walkthrough. Within a couple of weeks, she received an amazing offer, almost at near asking price. Now we got the under contract. She doesn't have to worry about spending her time and money repairing the home while putting more than $35,000 more in her pocket than the investors actually offered her. And so here's the thing. We can sell it quickly. We can get you a lot more than those investors. Any investor out there is chopping a lot off the block. They're trying to make a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 pop, and they're basically taking that from you. We can get it sold in little as one day if you want to, and also buy it out if you want to. The big thing here is we have licenses. These investors out there have these crazy contracts. They can get out anytime. They tie your property up for 60 days. Do you remember the one I talked about a few weeks ago from Utah? Some random cold caller called them, locked the guy's property up, had it for 60 days, and guess what they didn't do? They didn't close at the end of the day. He came back to us. Thankfully, we already got that listed under contract as well. And so just don't fall victim to those. Another one, Mary owned a home in Carolina Forest with a growing family. Recently decided it's time to get a larger home to accommodate the size of her growing family. In order to afford a new home, she needed to sell her current home before purchasing the new one. That's called the real estate catch-22, right? But also needed everything all to be done the same day. Simultaneous closing. Thankfully, she was referred to us by somebody here locally. We came and met with her, showed exactly what we do, how we can do that delicate dance of buying and selling at the same exact time, designed a custom plan, launched a global marketing blitz, professional photos, the virtual reality walkthrough. Within a couple weeks, drove massive traffic, had an amazing offer, almost full asking price, was able to negotiate a closing date that matched the closing date of her new home, made the entire process seamless for Mary and her family. She got closed on that and did that delicate dance of buying first and selling first. So if you want to be another success story, do not fall victim right now. Before, when the market was hot, anybody could get a house sold. Right now, you want the absolute best. You want precision and you want expertise. And that's something that we're very, very good at. We're very passionate about. I'm sure you can hear that in my voice, where we do everything fast, right? We're very, very quick in what we do. We operate very quickly, respond very quickly. And so if you want that same success, or anybody you know, have them reach out to us, 843-808-SOLD. And we got really like 1 minute left. Less than that one. So here's the deal. Forecast for 2023. Two main factors are really going to come into play. Number one, inflation, right? That's what's really going to kind of make a big difference. And interest rates. Interest rates have a lot of people on the sidelines right now. There's big talk about what Q1 is going to be like. So Q1, some are saying 6.6%, some are saying 6.1%. So it depends on how low that gets on Q1 and Q2. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of buyers just locally on the sidelines waiting to jump back in as soon as those rates drop. Now, if you're a buyer, you might get bid out at that point. But here's the thing. We're not sure when or if that's going to happen. They're showing Q2 can be anywhere from 6.5 to 5.7. National Association of Realtors is one of the few that have it in a 5% range for over Q2. Q3, they're saying hopefully more than fives. And so the big thing we'll talk about in next week's show is inflation pressures, if they actually ease. And we'll talk about the overall interest rates, because those two are connected very, very well. And that's what put a lot of buyers on the sidelines right now. And so if you want to really know how to navigate this, it's still a good time to buy, because you're not getting outbid by 20, 30, 40,000. You can always refinance if you need to. But here's the thing. We still have a lot of buyers. So anybody thinking about selling, don't chance it. Reach out to us, call us. We're more than happy to walk you through it with expertise and guidance and guide and love. So give us a call, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com anytime.